Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? Hello. Okay, Rajpreet, thanks for confirmation. Okay, so this is the session for solution mock. Okay, mock for the OPP2 exam. So as you have tomorrow OPP2 exam, and I hope you have prepared well for that. And this time we have also reduced the difficulty level of the section 1 of OPP1, okay, OPP2 exam. Okay, so that will be the same level of the OPP1 section 1 type. Okay, so that means the questions of the first section will be based on the first week till week 7, or till week 7 till only array topic. And the remaining section 2 questions will be from 7 string to like week 10 topic. Okay, so you can score well. You have another chance if you could not qualify. So the pattern will be same. Okay, for OPP2 pattern will be same. 2% you have to do in the each section, equal weightage, and bonus marks is also there. But I this time, as we have communicate, the section 1 score will also be considered for the OPP1. So if you each 3 questions actually contains the equal weightage for OPP1 score. So you have to do all 3 questions in the section 1 if you want to get full marks in the OPP1 score. So this is the pattern. So let's start with the OPP, that mock question. So mock questions is us based on the previous pattern. Okay, so that level is high compared to the norm that OPP2 exam this time. So but you should practice on the difficult question. Okay, so that if you will, then you will feel easy in the OPP2 exam if you find easy question compared to that. Okay, so let's start. I'm sharing my screen. Okay, so these are the questions. Yeah, this is about the portal that changed. First suggestion is definitely every time we said that use the new UI. Okay, so many of you, I'm not sure why you don't use the old UI. Oh, sorry, new UI. You can see maybe by default this UI will open. I'm not sure, but if not open, let's suppose if this old UI open, please move to the new UI. Okay, so this is much better. This new UI is much better, okay, than the old UI. So where on one page we have all things in the old UI, but in the new UI you can read the question at the same time. This time we are also will display that status of your score. Many query we received like this, where I have come all test case pass, but I got less marks like this. Okay, but tests are only associated with private test case. Okay, so if all private test case will be passed, then you all 100 marks. Maybe suppose out of 5, one test case pass, you will get a 20 marks for that, but no marks for public test case. So please make sure that after completion of the question, your submit button should be clicked. That means your exam should be, this question should be submit. Then only private test case will run, and then you will get a score for that. Okay, and this is like a online checking, so automate checking, so that your output should be in the same format. That is very important point. Sometimes someone actually saw that my output is looking very similar, but very one space change. So why this is wrong? In this nature, marks will only be awarded if your output is exact match. Then only you will get a test case pass. So these are the important things. Make sure that you will uh, remind all these things in the OPP exam. Keep in your mind. So let's start with the OPP questions now. So this is the mock for OPP2 we have released, total 6 questions. And by default, this screen is opening, so do not confuse. So there are some tabs ever. Just click on the question. Okay. And now read the question statement carefully and then solve the problem statement. Okay, and also some person maybe this time you will get like complete the main function part only. Some maybe you have to write the function part only, like this step. So just read the question carefully. What you are asked is actually. So first question is complete the C program that takes a string as input and prints the number of vowels in the strings. Okay, write the function count vowels. So this function you need to write that takes a string str with the length of the string n as input parameter and return the count of vowels in the given string str. Consider that all letters are in lowercase. So here this is the constraint is given. You can see. Do not ignore this because vowels we can also represent in smaller letter, also represent capital letter. So you need to only check in small letter. Okay, so lowercase. So that is the only one condition, and this function you can see like prototype is already given. So generally we give in the prototype, so you do not confuse about what are the parameter, all these things. So that is already given in the template. You edit this, but we recommended that do not edit the prototype, just only complete the function body. Okay. So what we are getting, so input we are getting this type of string. Okay. So let's increase the font. So we are getting this type of strings, and that string is by main function. Okay, so you can see fcat as this function is reading, and length is also we are calculating, and then all things we are providing to the function, input string and length. Okay, so that is passes as the parameter of the function, and you need to use these variables for your task, str or n in a function. So we will write, so we need to count total number of vowels in this function. So simply take some variable that will maintain the count. So like int count equal to 0. Okay, so this we have initialized. Okay, this we have initialized. And after that, because we need to traverse all the strings. So string is already saved in array. Okay, so you can see this we are taking as a string, and we have also we have know the information about this size of strings. Okay, so we can run a loop, and that loop by that loop we will just traverse each character one by one from its index 0 to n minus 1. So to maintain this traversing operation, we will run a loop, and we will take some variable for the loop that will start from 0 to reach at the n minus 1. That will be the last index. So just write a loop definition here. So for int I equal to 0. So that we have taken I as the initialization with 0 index, and that should be less than equal to n. Okay, so every time we will increment our I by 1. So that is the function, that for loop variable we have initialized with 0 condition. We have maintained that this loop will iterate if this condition is true. Every time we will just increment the counter by 1, and each time we will just check, we will compare our character. Okay, so what you can do, you can just write like this. So ch, you can take one variable care. Okay, someone raise the hand. Okay, what is the query? Say OPP1 the mock pattern and the OPP1 mock question pattern is totally different. So actually we cannot release the same question in the mock exam. What you have done in the your graded assignments and or practice assignments, that is also matters. Okay, so now OPP is not exact similar to the mock. So in programming, questions will definitely be different. But we give the question actually in the same tab. So conditional statement first, that means to test everything. So like one question was, no sir, the mock for OPP. Yeah, I'm just talking about the mock. Why you are only depend on the mock? Why you not check the graded assignment, graded programming assignment, practice assignment? Sorry. OPP exam is actually depends on the all factors. Mock is just released to just give the idea, that how many questions will be there. Okay, so you can just practice like as a in the same 2 hours pattern. You can solve or not. Questions will definitely be different. Okay, we cannot give the same question. So practice on all question, practice assignment also. We are this time we also conduct the live coding session, so that we use some different portal. There we have released that some additional question for practice. Everything depends for the programming exam. Okay, so questions cannot be the same in the which you have already seen. But you should have the good practice for all type of questions which we are providing in the content. Okay. Okay, so this type also again I'm saying that this time this OPP pattern is high level. Okay, so this mock pattern is completely high level with the actual OPP exam. Okay, so as I mentioned that the OPP pattern, all these questions are after week 7. But in this time, OPP questions will be from previous week also. Like simple question will also be there based on conditional statement, based on simple loop, simple array. This type questions will also be there. Okay, so you should know how to solve the problem. So problem will definitely be new, and you have to figure out that what concept logic you have to apply, and that is only possible if you have done proper practice. If you have not done practice, definitely you can't solve. So that is the requirement of the programming exam, actually, any coding exam. So character. So here now character ch, we are taking one variable. Okay, and that we will read the character one by one and based on the index I. So that we have the string in str variable, and index we will denote it by I, because this loop is running under I. Okay, with the variable I. So I will come at the 0 index, that character will come in the ch, and that we will compare with our all variables. So that all variables are, so we will take the condition if, and now we will compare our character with the all vowels here. So this is simple ch equal to, so we are just denoting this a. Okay, so this is the first. So if our character is matched with any of the vowels, okay, then our counter should be increased. So that means we should maintain a condition or here. Okay, so this is the or condition. That means if this is true, if this is not true, so we will check the second. If second one is true, okay, then fine. Any of the condition is become true, we will increment our counter. Okay, because we are looking the total number of variable vowels count here. So same things we will write again. So ch is equal to e. Okay, so the second possible void. Okay, third is now ch equal to, and this is aei, and next is ch equal to that o. Okay, and ch equal to u. Okay, so that all possible what we have mentioned here. Okay, so u should be come in the character should be come in the with the single quote. So this become our condition, and now vowels plus plus. Okay, so we have increment our counter here. So now this, sorry, this is count. Count. So count equal to 0, and now every time if any character is matched with these out of these 5 characters, so that will be incremented by the 1 count. So now our task is done. Your now your task is to just return the total number of return count. So that mentioned in the question statement, the return count value of this. So now in this return, and what is the value of count? So count. So this is the return value from the function. Okay. So I hope we have done all the things. So according to the question statement, so we can test this. Okay, it's run or not? Oh, it's learning. Okay, so see what mistake we have done. Our output is not matching. STRI. Okay, CH. Oh, sorry. This counters and loop is already running correctly. Okay. So let's check again. What is the mistake? Because we are getting one output. So if care I equal to 0, I is less than this, I plus plus, and I, this is also running fine. Square equal to ch equal to str of I
Sir,
c.
after char is equals to O, we have to put the OR function. No?
Okay, okay, yeah, we missed this. Or condition. So this becomes but that code should give error, but still that run. All is fine. Okay. So just carefully write the code so you can see that mistake is definitely anyone can do. Okay. So but you should know how to that correct the mistake also. So that mistake is not a problem, but you should know how what is the mistake and how you can debug it. So this is now passing the test kit, and after passing, this button should definitely be clicked to get the marks. Okay, so you can see the status of now 5 out of 5 private test pass. So that you can see you jump to the overview page and you got the 100 score in this. Okay, so this is just like a validation. You can consider check your status. Okay, so this was the first question. Let's move to the second. Okay, so let's read this. Complete the function swap name that okay, this is repeated 2 times. That takes a pointer variable which contain a string representing a first name, last name. Okay, so first name space last name as a string. The function rearrange it to become last name and first name. So this is just like a swapping of first name and last name. And you have like a two word here, and that word is representing first name, last name, and that should be swapped in the output. So and you are getting this string as a pointer here, so that you can also traverse like as a array with the indexing. So what you can do, the easy task, if you know about this str talk function, that is some string function, that is fine. You can use this. That is used to break the string by some delimiter, like some space or comma or like any type of character. But we can also write if you don't know about this, so we can write the basic code for this also. So swap, you can see that code will become lengthy, not lengthy, but that uh, some bigger, but that will be more logical. So right now, first we will check the length of this string. So what is the string of the length? So let me take int. So I len of equal to, so what is the function of the to checking the length of the string is str len. Okay, so that we can use because that is taken from this string library. Okay, so you can pass the name here, so that will provide the length of the string. So that length means total number of characters of the strings. And then after that we will run a loop. We will run a loop. Okay. So what we will do, we will figure out where we are getting the space actually. So we will note down that at which index we are getting the space. Before that we have the one character, and after that we have the another word. Before that we have one word. After that we have one another word. Okay. So in that way we can break the one two word into two separate variables. So we can run a loop like here. So for so that same int I equal to 0 and I is less than equal to that len. Okay, so len we are taking as a that very length of the strings, and I plus plus. So that loop will now compare the character here. So if uh, name of that I character, okay, so at index I character is equal to blank space, okay, so that is now blank space. What we will do, we will just note down our, okay, so we will maintain some index variable here that will just a identification, so like int space index, okay, so that is set equal to some any value which is not possible in the indexing, so that we are taking as a like a -1, okay, space index. And once we found out the index which is empty, what is the empty character index, so that we will note down here, so space index equal to I. So that is just a identification that this is the point where the space is there, okay. So this loop is done. After that, what we will do, uh, we will we will just now make it two strings, okay, so we will split that string into a two part. So just make care first name, first name, and so this will be the array, like, okay, suppose I am taking 100 length, so that is, I think, enough. You can take any length. So second, sorry, last name, and again 100 characters. So we have just initialized one that two array that will contain first and last name. And after that, we will just run a loop again. So for same int I equal to 0. So that loop is, we are just maintaining for the first name. So I is less than equal to, uh, okay, so that should be equal. Okay, so that we will run for the space index. What was the space index? So space, okay, so that should be less than, because that space we will not consider in our first name. So I plus plus, okay. So inside this loop, we will set our first name. So first name at index I character, we will store the name of I, okay. So now all characters, so suppose if we are running this John, JOHN will be stored at the four as a four character in this first name. But for we have to assign a terminator sign, terminator symbol after this completion of like last character of the name. So that at the next after this assigning, I will also increment. So at the last index, so that means suppose we have the four character in the first name. So for after four character, index should be assigned by the terminator that character. Okay, that so that we will directly assign here. So like first name I index. So this is outside of loop. Okay, so that means suppose we have four characters, so 0, 1, 2, 3. At the three index, this loop will assign. After that, I will become four. At that time, we will assign a null terminator for this. Okay, so that is like a character 0. This, okay. So this is the identification in the strings. So this is the stop point of the strings. Okay, indication. So same things we will do now for the second character. So same part we will do for the second character or last name. So, but this time this loop will run from the index, so that I will start from space index plus 1. So space index plus 1, and it will reach till n minus 1. Okay, so that n. Now that means we are reading the another part of the name. So same things we will do, and this time this variable you consider as a last name. Okay, so same we will update here. Okay, so now both names are updated, and we can now print this. So so what is function? Rearrange it to become last name and first name in the same pointer variable. Okay, so pointer variables. Where are the pointer variables? character name. Mm, so first name. Okay. First name we are getting the name pointer. Okay, so that means we need to update your first name, last name. Okay, so that means we no need to print here. So we have to copy this into the same pointer name field because that is printing again here in the main function. So here we can use the copy function of this string. So we know that str copy strcpy. Okay, so that will take the variable pointer name. So name is the pointer name, and we will copy the first name here. Okay, so copy the first name. So first name. So the first name will be copy, not the first name. Sorry, it's last name because we want to swap here. So last name. Okay, so last name is copied to this pointer in the name. That we need a space. Okay, so that means we now concatenate. Okay, so this is just a copy function first thing. Now we will concatenate the string. So that means we will like append the strings. So that is str cat, and that str cat, what we can do, we can just name and space. We want to add space. Okay, so one space. So that one space is added. Now str cat, we will add the last name. Okay, so name comma. So now first name become last name position. So that is like a first. Okay, this is the swapping thing. Now we have updated our pointers at the same place. So let's check. This is our task. Okay, some we are getting here. Okay, let's just see the error. Okay, some token expected before. Okay, so we have first thing we have missed some semicolon here also all these function. Okay, okay, I undeclared before use, where it is undeclared. First name. Okay, I. Oh, okay, so that means we should declare this at the top because this I scope is under the loop only 0. So that like or we can just declare like this, and here we can start I. Okay, same things because I we are also accessing from outside that value. So that should be updated properly. So same again. And or we can declare only one time. So no need to declare second time if we are declaring as a global. So still some error. So let's see what we have done. Error expected colon before token. Still we have something missing. And space index I. Okay, let's check. Some bracket mistake is there. So this is started here. Loop started and all things are okay. This is fine. Okay, again, declare this. Just give me a minute.
So what is N, line 27?
N is the sorry, N is not used now. We use the len. Okay, okay. That is also one mistake. Okay, and here also we missed this. Int I we have declared that we can remove this. Any other place we have used and something? Just that is okay. Let's check. Is it bracket issue is still there? Okay. strcat makes pointer. Okay, so strcat. What is this? strcat. This is like a empty space. Okay, so this is string actually, not the character. So that should be, yeah, it is this. That should be inside the double bracket. Space. Okay, now we got only one name, John at the first place. Then why not the is less than len strcat. This is str to first name. Let's check first print percentile s space percentile s and the value of first name or last name. What we are getting? John. Oh, that first John is okay.
So
Oh, that is one mistake. So indexing, yeah, this
yes,
indexing is wrong.
yes, sir. We're going backwards. So the first thing it will see is the terminator. We are going backwards in the loop. So
No,
the
we are
well,
not going the backwards. Yeah,
okay,
we are just traversing the second word, but indexing should we start from
right from the
that
initial value, yeah, you have to subtract that.
so what so I was that 5, so that should be like space index. That
Yeah,
is space
we have lost
index.
that I. Yeah, so yes, correct.
Okay. Space index. So this 5. So space index was like 4 minus uh, that I. Okay, so I is space index plus 1. 5. So that is also set plus 1. Okay, let's see. Still not reaching. Here also, sorry. Mistake. So can we just take int j equal to 0, and every iteration we will use the j and j plus plus. This is also j. Now the name is coming. Fine, I think. Okay, so let's comment this. Okay, so now the words are swaps. Okay. So yeah, this was the mistake because we are taking a new array. So the indexing should be start with the 0 when we are storing, but the name pointer we should read the character from the second word point, that index. So that index we cannot take the same. So we take the another j value as starting from 0, but as for assigning the character, we are taking the same I value equal to start space index plus 1. So that is now the value will be assigned in this way. So this is okay. This is the way of to solve this. You can take like this. Okay. So now let's submit also. Okay. Now our test is passed. So any query in this code, because this become some more lengthy code, but more logical without using too much. Okay. Shortcut things. Okay. So I hope this is clear. How we break the strings and then how we copy, and then after that, because this is asking to actually point assign into the same pointer, otherwise we can directly print here, but it is asking to just assign into the same pointer. So because of that, we have to copy into the same pointer variable which we have received after splitting this. Okay, so let's move to the next third question. So this is 2D array based question. So two-dimensional array, we have row, column, we have write a function sum of odd that takes a 2D integer array ARR, the number of rows and columns, and the number of number of rows ROW. These are the parameter, and the number of columns calls the of the array ARR as the input parameter. Function returns the sum of all odd elements in the 2D array. So this is I think simple, but you should know how to traverse the 2D array actually. That is the only task in this. Otherwise, after if you know the traversing things, simply compare that number is odd or not, and if yes, then add it. So take the variable like total or sum, anything, where we will store the final result, sum. So int total equal to 0. Sorry, total equal to 0. And then we will run a loop. Okay, so this time we have 2D array. So two nested loop we have to use. So for int, so this first loop is to indicating the rows, number of that which row we are actually were traversing. So int I equal to 0, because row index also start from 0, and I is less than equal to that what is the rows value. Okay, so that not equal to, and you can directly type rows. Okay, and that I plus plus. So this will handle the rows. And inside this loop, we will run another loop. So for int j equal to 0, and j should be less than columns and j plus plus. Okay, so that will handle the column in the matrix. So inside this loop, now we will check the element, our elements is odd or even. So that we will check if that ARR. Okay, so this is the array name and the index row I and column j. Okay, so that value is actually odd or not. So that is simple, percentile 2 if that is not equal to 0. Okay, so that means that number will be odd if this condition is true, and that we will add in our total. So total plus equal to what is that value? ARR and I row jth column. Okay, so that's done, and that value we need to return. Okay, so the function returns the sum of that. So here return, and what is that? Total. Okay, so this is the task. We are just traversing each element and we are comparing that number is odd or not, and then we will return that value. Okay, so let's run this and see this passes. Okay, so this is passes, no syntax error this time. So we can submit this. Okay, now all test case pass. So this is the status of marks. So now next is problem number 4. Okay, so this is a question based on the, I think, string itself. Okay, string pointer is there. Okay, so complete the C program that verify the validity of user name based on the specific criteria. The validation rules are as follows. The username can only contain letters, both uppercase and lowercase digits. Okay, so that are the characters that can contain this type of letters. Okay, uppercase and lower letters 0 to 9 digit and underscore. Okay, so like as a variable name. Okay, the username must be at least 8 character long and at most 20 character long. So this is the length limitation. The username should not begin with the number or an underscore. There are lots of condition mentioned here to validation. The username should not be end with the underscore name. Okay, so multiple condition we have to maintain inside this. So first thing is like this starting and end index that we can check because we have the length. We can find out the length of this. Like suppose we can take the variable. So inside this function, n equal to that strlen, and that is the username. Okay, so we will get the n. Now you know that. So what condition is given for first and last index? So username should not be begin with a number or an underscore. So that means index 0 character cannot be this. Okay, and the n minus 1 character that should not be end with underscore. So that are two conditions so that we can validate. And what should be written? The function check returns the integer if 1 if the user is valid according to the specific criteria, 0 if the user is invalid. Okay, so some basic condition we can apply here, starting index and last index. So that type of things. So if like first condition we are checking basically username, so that username index first, so that should not be equal to that underscore. Okay, character. So that is underscore character. So if this is true, or another is that should not be start also with the number digit. So okay, so that we have to take two condition, or I think what we can do the last also, so that we can make the same condition again. So this is like a so this bracket and username, because this underscore is also not should be at the last place, so that we can write like n minus 1. That should also be not equal to. Okay, so if equal to, then underscore. If this is true, so what we should return? 0 function. Return 0 directly, and here our function will stop actually. So at any point our return statement is find out that function will be stopped as a 0 answer. Okay, so this is the one condition we have fulfilled, so that underscore should not be come at the last or at the first. Another condition is at the first the digit should also be not be there. So like that condition we can also write here. So if same username that 0 okay, so that character we can write like this. This should be, if this should be greater than, okay, equal to. So in this way we can also write like this. If this is username is greater than 0, so that means ASCII number will be actually checked. Okay, and with the end condition, and if username is less than equal to 9, that is less than equal to 9, but this is inside the string. That is just like a character, but that also has some corresponding SKI number. So that is also a continuous number. So that will be actually matched. If username is greater than 0 and less than 9, if both condition is true, so that means first character is a digit. So that we can return 0. That is also a invalid condition for the username. So this is just like a two condition we have covered. So these last 2 points. Okay. The username must be at least 8 character long and at most 20 character. That is the size. Okay. So that we can directly return, I think. So that condition we can also write like this. So if this n value is, if n is less than 8, or if n is greater than how much, 20 character, okay, then we can also return 0. These 3 also covered, this one also covered, then 0, and last one is only this. The username can only contain letters, both uppercase and lowercase and digit and underscore. Okay. Okay. So that we can make as a last character to check everything. So because here we have to check now the each type of, okay, so upper like character, lowercase, uppercase, and 0 to 9, and this character should be actually only. So that we can write a condition for each character. If so, this condition will become like big. So for each character, so that I should we start from 0 and I equal to 0, and I is less than 2 n and I plus plus. So for each character we will check if condition, okay, so that condition here we will write multiple condition, okay, so that means okay, so for this condition, if that multiple condition we will write here, and that is like, we will check if that is not true. So we are checking that character is coming in the range actually. So if like this first condition, I am writing like this, username, okay, so that ith character, if this is greater than our character A, okay, so this is just greater than A, and username of I is smaller than equal to Z. Okay, so that is or. So this is for the small character, so that with single. So we have make this condition. This either this one should be true for the each character. Okay, so our character should be come in this range, small a to small capital, sorry, small z, and same type of condition we will write with the capital letter with the or, So that is like capital A and capital Z, and again or what type of character can be there? Number. Okay, so that number again. So that is greater than 0. Okay, so 0, okay, equal should be also there because 0 may be also possible. So that we have also. This is fine. Okay, 0 and less greater than equal to 0 and less than equal to 9. That is also done. And so now username, so this is the only underscore. Right. This is equal to underscore. Okay. So this become all condition. So you can see we will check our character with all these conditions. Either that should be matched with this character, this range, this or this range, or this range, or this range. If that character is not matched with any of these conditions, because all these conditions are connected with or. So in that case, this overall condition will return false result. Okay. So that means we are checking this if this condition is not true. Okay, not equal to means not true. So in that case, we will return our result. So this is the if condition is finished at this point. So that means this bracket is started for this if. Okay. So this is written some different way. So just understand that. So this is overall condition till here, then the block. Okay. So if this is not true, all these conditions are not true, that means false. So for false, we will return 0. Okay. Otherwise, finally, we will return true. So at any point, this is return 1, return 1, or that will loop will be terminate. Okay. After terminating the loop, we will return 1. So all validation we have checked now. So you can see by these 3 conditions, these last 3 all covered. Okay, length underscore at start point, last point, or character number should not be start with the first 12 character. After that, we have checked all characters. All characters are coming in this range or not. If not, then we will return 0. At any point, this we are getting, or character is not matched with any of these range, so we will return 0. If this loop will run without this return statement, so that means all character contains a valid character. So then we will return only 1. Okay, so so I hope this is a long code, maybe mistake. Let me check. Yes, mistakes are there. So let's see. N undeclared first user function and style and username. Okay, and something is expected identifier before. Okay. First is and undeclared. Okay, so that is not int defined. Okay. And any brackets or something we missed. Okay, some bracket. Okay, 2 brackets are there at the moment. Oh, this one all case passed, but this is incorrect. Why? Okay, so that is O3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is fine. This should be valid. Why this is written invalid? 0. We are only checking with if user I greater than. Okay, so that is also equal to, that is also equal to. Hmm. Okay, now clear. So we actually missed the including this A or capital A because that was greater than. So now all test case pass. Okay, all private test case also pass. Okay, so we have done step by step because this problem is big, contain many tasks. Okay, so we have to cover step by step all tasks. So that means validation, and then based on that we will return the answer. Okay, so this is one. Any query in this, anyone? Okay, no. Let's move to the fifth one. And okay, so this is based on the structure. So I think BK content. So here some structure are given. So complete the function insert student that reads a list of student names and heights from the input and adds them into the line while maintaining the ascending order of the heights. Okay, the len variable should be updated accordingly. The updated line will be printed as the output. Okay. If multiple students have the same height, put the latest one in the lower index. Okay, in the leftmost place. Okay. Hmm. So this is something like a sorting thing. Reads a list of student names and height from the input and adds them into the line while maintaining the ascending order of the height. Okay. Okay. So some sorting is involved in this. So that means we are storing the data into the line structure. So you can see in the line structure, we have the one array of students that contain this structure. Okay, so this is a structure array, okay, of the type student. So that will contain the information of name and height for each student, but that should be so stored in the like sorted order. Okay, height. If height is equal, then we will be sort based on the that multiple students the same way. Put the latest one in the lower index at the leftmost place. Okay. Hmm. So this is sample that should be based on first 160, 150. This output 160. Okay. So okay. So if height is same, then latest one. So that means that those who are coming at the last, that should be come first in the line. So some sorting is involved. I hope you know the sorting things. Any at least one sorting method you should know. Okay. So we can complete this function. So that is insert student line. This is the object line pointer we are getting. After that, see, so this question is based on the structure and also the structure pointer on dynamic memory allocation. This mock is really difficult. So OPP level definitely not will be the same as on these questions. Okay, so don't worry about this, the difficulty level of this mock. So now what we will do, we will create a student. So student structure line. Okay. Just 1 second. First thing, we also need to read the input. Okay. Oh, reading part is also not done. Okay. So what we will do first thing, because memory we have to allocate here, because memory is not allocated for this. Okay. So first we have to create the student, not this students. Okay. This one structure. Line student. Okay, this character. Okay. So first we have to create a, like, we have to allocate memory for this. So we are creating one, that student. This is the data type, that is the pointer, and then we will store student information. So we are allocating the memory for one student actually. Okay, so what is the student size? So this is structure size actually, this one. Okay, so memory we are allocating because that memory is not allocated. Yes. So student, now that you know the dynamic array students, student, capital S. Okay, student data string, and we will use the malloc. Malloc and size of that is the student. So we created one pointer students, and we allocated the memory for that pointer, one single student pointer. Okay. So why we are doing this? Because we will store the student information in this. Right. So now scan F, and now we will store our, because the first value is just like a string. Okay. So you can see this is a string and this is an integer. So string, now we will store as %cs, and integer is %d. Okay. So that is student. And because this is a pointer, we will use this symbol. Okay, so because if you want to access the member from pointer, so that is also students, not students. Okay, students pointer. What is the pointer? That is name. So name field is there. So that first value will be come in this field. Second value will become students. The pointer, and inside the height. Okay, so that is height. Okay. So now this is the second thing, column. Hmm. So this is the reading part. We are reading our student information. Okay. Okay, so insert student brief. Insert student line. Okay, so this. So this function actually is calling by under this loop. So that function will call again and again, and each time we will store one student record, and that will be added into the line. So now this is the first thing. So we have done this. Now next is the condition. That means if line length is 0, okay, so that we will add as a first student. Okay. So first thing is because line is already passed as a that pointer, so line length we will check. So this is the length value we have. So line, that this is also a pointer, so that len this is equal to 0. Then we will add our first element into this. Okay, so line that, what is the first pointer? Student. Okay, so that will be become a first element. So student students. Line dot student. Okay, so that is students. 0 value will become name. So, okay, student. So I think that will create confusion. So let's take this student. This is another variable. Okay. Yes. Okay, student. So now this is a, because we are creating a line. Okay, so line is just an array. So that means we are storing the first student in our array. So this is the array, actually students array. First index, 0 index, we will add our first student. Okay, if, and we will increment our length at this place. So at every time we will do this. So length will be definitely increment when this function will call. Okay? So either you can increment at the first time or maybe at the last. So len, sorry, yeah, not this line s len plus plus. So this variable we are incrementing by 1 when first student is added. So first time, so you can see that line len is incremented. Else part, now we have to do sorting also. What first thing you can do? Maybe you can just give me a minute. Okay, sorry. So, so now this is the first thing. You either you can store all the student first, and then you can do the sorting. Okay, so that is the one way. Otherwise, if you know about the insertion sort concept, so at the same time you can sorting also. So what we can do, we have added first student. When we will do the, when we will add the second student, we will compare with the first student height. Okay. So if that is in not in the correct order, so we will just swap the value. We will just update the value and change the position of the student's index. So that is the one way. Otherwise, you can use like bubble sort techniques or selection sort technique. That type of sorting you can also approach. But at the same time, we can use this insertion sort techniques. So if first students are adding, we are adding like this. Okay. Otherwise, else part. So now we will just make the sorting also at the time of students adding. So here we will just assign a length. What is the final length we have till now? So that we are taking int I equal to length, line length, and that is pointer. So that length. Okay, now we will run a while loop here. So while loop, actually we will compare each element from the last. So like let me show you. So suppose Okay, so like suppose we have the height like 150, okay, and next is coming 140, that height student. So what we will do, we have already this inserted in the zeroth index, but when this will come, so that will compare with the previous element. Okay, so what is the previous element? So if that is not in the sorted, so we will just change the position of both, and 140 will become first and 150 will become second. Suppose now 130 is coming, so this is index 0, this is 1. Okay, we are just adding into the 2 index. So 130 is coming at this point, inserting, but now we will compare with the previous one. If this is not in the correct order, we will change the position. Again, we will compare with the previous one if that exists. So if that is not in the correct order, so we will swap. In this way, we will repeat this process till 0 index. Okay. So we will start from the last index where we are inserting, and we will start comparison till the 0th index. Okay, so that is the insertion sort, and that part we will repeat actually. Okay, so I'm removing this and write the code. Okay, so where's the mouse? So now we will run a while loop. So while, okay, and inside the loop, that iteration, you can see we are starting from I equal to line for length. Line, what is the length we have done already? Okay, so that we have incremented. Line 10 equal to 0. That line, I think that was initialized at some place or not. Length is already initialized. Okay. So we will just run a loop now. So while this I is greater than 0. Okay, so that we are coming down last line to 0 for the comparison. If this condition is true and our that heights are not equal, okay, so that is end condition. That means if our order is not in correct order, so that student height, that student, that is a variable, student pointer height. Okay, so that if it is not in the correct order, so that means less than equal to line of last student. Okay, so this is the correct student height. If this is less than equal to line length, okay, so that is a little bit confusing. Students. Okay, so that I minus 1 dot, so not dot height. So the condition. So what was the that is, students which is already added in the line at the last index? Okay, that height, comparing if that is greater than or equal to the current new added student height. So in this if this condition is true or I is greater than 0, if this both condition is true, then we will perform the shifting actually. So we will perform the shifting like this. So line that students, okay, so this like line the students, line students of I, that place we will store the value of line students of I minus 1. So that is just simple swapping. So we have shifting this the last student ith minus 1 index student at the ith index. Now that is now free. So at that point we will store the current student. So that is student height. Okay, so this iteration will run till the point where the new student should be added actually. So that is outside of this loop. So that simply we can write at this place outside of this while loop should we added our new student. So that is our student. Okay, So what we are doing actually, again, I'm just explaining in the doc. One note, sorry. So this is like suppose we have 120, 130, 140, and at any point our like 0 index, 1 index, 2 index. Suppose 125, this height student is coming. Okay, so this is actually will compare from this position. Okay, so this is 0, 3. At 3 position we are adding this 125, but after that we are looking from this position to this till this. So what will happen? So 125 is smaller than 140. Okay, so now we will save this one place here. Now still we will check 125 is still smaller than 130. So this will save at this position. Now 125 is greater than this. So this is a correct condition. Okay, so it is already greater than. So now this iteration is run. So our 2 elements are shifted 1 position ahead. Now this position we will just place this one. So that will become 120 and then 125, then 130 and then 140. So that type of shifting is happening by this code. And in this way, so in this way, this you can see, this is also arrow. Each place, this should be arrow type. Oh, is that every place? Okay, so now this is swapping. Swapping is done in this way. Now this is done line we have already incremented. So this I loop actually we have to reduce every time. So this is while loop. So that is minus minus that colon, that colon. Okay, so this while loop. So in this way, our all students will be added in the correct order. Because we have taken equal sign also, so the last same height student will be shifted to the left. That order will also be maintained. So this is the logic. If anyone have a specific doubt in this, you can ask any part. I'll explain in the detail. Let's test this first. Maybe some syntax or any error. Yeah, we have error. So students, so that is scanf part. Okay, so we have only done this students. Okay. So this variables we have taken this very similar many variable. Maybe some confusion. Okay. Student height. Okay, height is declared. Fantastic. Student height. What is the problem in this? Oh, okay. Yeah, so this actually a integer value, so that should end symbol should be there. This is fine. Not related. So line student 0 equal to students. So line student 0 equal to students. So that is only student. Oh, output is coming. And here is there, no error is there. And there, line students is also updated. Height. I minus. So this is also I OI minus minus. So that we have to increment one time. I so that is like I. Okay. Yeah. So why we have to done this I? Because after updating the shifting the students, we are decrementing this I. So that should be actually next I. Okay. So that next place I. Okay. So this code is actually sorting the student array basically. Okay. That is called the insertion sort algorithm. Otherwise, this is simple. We are reading the students. We are adding into the line array that each students, and at the meantime, we are also sorting that. So, any doubt in any part of this code or logic or anything you can ask, because this is little bit a tricky question. So this type of question, structure-based question will be there. So you should know how the structure actually declares. So maybe some structure definition maybe ask how you can define the members, all these things. And after that, how you can create an array for that structure, and how you can store the data on that structure, and how you can traverse that. Okay, traverse the array and finding something. So that should actually. Sorting part is additionally things, so that level person maybe not there, but it's traversing that, creating the structure or array of structure, or that traversing of that array. Okay, and accessing the elements. So that is the important part for this type of structure based question. Also, this malloc is also not important. Okay, so what we have assigned the value, so not important. Okay, so if no question, I'm moving to the next. That is one file based question. So in the file based question, you should know how to read the file, and how after reading, how you can get the file data into your variables or array something, and after that process the thing, then how to write the file. Okay, so just remember that this type of function definition will be given to you also. So input file is the name of input as a string. Okay, output file, this is a variable, and that contains the file name. Okay, output file name. So you need to read the data from input file, but after processing you need to write something in the output file. So that input file should be open in the read mode, and output file should be uh, open in the write mode. So that is one important thing. So that you can just remember this. So these two basic operations you should know. First thing, our file pointer. So first thing, our file pointer we should maintain. So file, that file and that asterisk, we are just opening the file first. Okay, so that is the first task. So that is a pointer. So like input file, input underscore file, we are taking this pointer and open the file. Okay, so f open. Okay, so now inside the open, because this is we are passing a variable, not the string actually. Okay, so that contains the string, but this is a variable pointer. So do not write this input file variable. Okay, so sorry, both parameters become same. So I'm just making the in file. Okay, so here just write the input as a variable name, not within the semicolon or this double quote or single quote. Okay, because this is a variable that will pass the string, and mode should be the read mode. Okay, so that. Anyone have any query? Someone open the mic. Asterisk. Okay. So that is out file. Out file, same f open, and that is the output file. Okay, so what variable we have, and open this into a W mode. So that should be create actually. Okay. So this is the opening, and also make sure that after performing your tasks that both files should be closed. So F close, that is also very important. So that in file, okay, F close out file. One second out. Hmm. So these are the two steps you need to follow: opening the file, read in the what file you will read, and what file you will open for the write mode. Okay, because what is the question actually? We are getting to file name, and that is the input actually. In your function, this name is passing in a variable as a pointer. Input1.txt, output1.txt. Input1.txt contains this data with this data, and your task is just to write the data into the output file, that is this one. No need to print anything, just write the output into the output file. Okay, and task is here. You are provided with the name of the input and the output text. Complete the function copy odd lines that reads the given input text file, extract the odd number lines, and write them to the output text file. The maximum size of this is 200 character. So here only the thing is your line number. So odd line number should be printed, and line number will be start from the like 0. Okay, so first line we will consider as a line number 1. So in the output you can see, so this odd line is this first line, then this line, and this line will be printed into the output line. So you can just read the file at the time, and odd line you can print into the output file. So you can take the variable int line number like this and assign as a 1. So first line we are just starting. After that we will traverse the line. So while, and this is the sort function f s. Okay, so we have to read the complete line, so that f get s and the first. Okay, so we have to take one variable also, so where we will store the that line, so that we can take care like buffer, and size we are taking maximum 200 size. So 200 size length is given 200, and so inside this fget this data should be come in buffer. Okay, and uh, maximum limit we can also pass. This is the size of buffer maximum, but we can also size as a maximum length, how much we want to read in the one line. So like 200 we can mention again, and which file and where this data we are getting actually. So that is in file. So this loop will actually read each line, and each line will store into the buffer. This is the limited of the characters in the each line, and the data is reading from this pointer. Okay, that data, that part will be processed until you will not get a null value. This is the line identification. Okay, so this repeat things will be run, and we will check the line number. So if line number we have already mentioned, line number percentile does not percentile by 2 does not equal to 0. That case, so that means that line is a odd number line, and that line we will print into our output file. So that file which we have opened into the output format, so that we will print. So f print and sorry, print, okay, f print, and then first parameter is here is output file, and what type of data we are passing in, that is just like a string, and where from we are passing the data, that is stored in the buffer. Okay, so that line will be copied into the output file. It is this, and after this we will increment our line number. So we will move to the next line. Okay. So that is done. Okay, so this open part, this is important, and closing this should not be left. This part is just reading the data, store the data in Portage. So some easy question you should know about the file reading, writing, or something. Okay, and reading the lines, reading the character, how we can read the character. Then you can use f get c, this type of function. So multiple functions are there. Just revise that. And in this way, we are just printing output in the output file. Okay. So place we missed this we have put, this we have put, we have put, where we don't have put. Expected view to this. This is open here while this is closed. This is closed. Any place where we missed this? Is also pointed. Okay, 1, 2. So this is okay, fine. Into 0 brackets. What is this misline? Oh, yeah. Okay. So now all test is pass. So just practice this input opening. Just remember this. This is very common mistake which have done last time many students. Input file. This is a variable, not a string. Okay. Do not just put this inside the double quote or single quote. Just pass as a variable name, and that your file will be read. Okay. What name of the file is, that is read and open. And also close this. In between, your task is only simple read the lines, read the character, or do something on from this and write that. So that is the very easy task. Okay, so just practice on the at least this part of the file based version. Okay, so any query file based version? As I mentioned, that level of the mock OPP2 is much higher compared to your OPP exam. So just prepare your well at this level. Definitely you will get good score in the OPP exam. Okay, anyone in any of the question now? If you see the syllabus of OPP2, so is it okay? Language. Okay, so okay, no query. Any query, anyone? And also attempt the OPP2. Okay, do not absent. Last time many students were also absent. Okay, no query. Okay, no query. Then we can close the session. Okay, bye. Thanks, everyone. Okay. Yeah, someone raised the hand. Yeah, someone raised the hand. Okay.